Oh, we will win this battle. We will win it. Heaven is with us.
We are live.
Oh,
All right. Good morning, my people. I was trying to do something fancy here, but it's not responding. But it's all good. We are going to continue. Hopefully, I think it's on now. Hopefully, it's streaming now. So, yeah, I don't think it is. All right. Good morning. What? Why is it dark? Okay, here it is. Apparently, there's a delayed signal. I see it's going. All right. Good morning, my people. Thank you once again for joining us. We are really taking this thing seriously and trying to do the best that we can to make sure that things are flowing like it's supposed to. So, of course, my name is Mona Chimzaga, and I am here today with my sisters. I'll have my sisters introduce themselves. So, Sister Augusta, please go ahead.
Yeah, my name is Augusta Anosike in Richmond, Texas. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you. And, of course, my other sister.
my name is Eputus Simon Okube, and I'm joining from Lexington, Kentucky. Thank you very much for stopping by.
Awesome. All right. So today is a part 2 of the lesson that we started last week. And if we recall, this is the lesson of flying on borrowed wings. That was the topic last week, the lessons of flying on borrowed wings. We started the introduction by telling you guys a story about the tortoise and the bird, how the tortoise was able to borrow a body part, which is the feather, to go to an important meeting that he couldn't have gone to if not for the feather that his brothers and sisters gave him, or the birds gave him. So when he got there, of course, he got greedy, got pompous and proud, so that he can achieve the earn by himself. Consequently, the bird took back their wings, and we all knew, remember what happened to the tortoise. So we also explained there's some lesson learned from this story, because it's not just a story. With borrowed wings, you get to do things that you could not naturally have done by yourself because of limitations. The tortoise had the limitations of the wings. He was able to borrow it from the birds. You save time and resources because you don't have to go through the rigor of creating your own feathers and wings. You learn humility and collaboration. You understand it's important to work together with each other. And all the animals, they learn partnership because they understood that everyone is important. So before you get greedy, pompous, and proud, get check yourself because you will fall. People say that, well, it's a popular saying that pride goes before a fall, and we don't want that to happen to us. So this is a lesson for everyone in this freedom fighting project, or those doing one thing or the other for the people. As youth, we know we have the energy and the vitality to do what is needed. And of course, our elderly, they come with the achievement, the wisdom, experience, and resources. All we need to do is to put these things together, collaborate with each other, and synergize, and we'll be able to accomplish our goals. So we're going to start with the segment 2 of the documents that we are reading.
Documents, yes.
I was trying to say constitution.
No.
We are going to start with the segment 2 of the documents that we started reading last week. So
Last week.
Yes, Sister Augusta will take on and give us a recap, and then we'll move quickly to the next document.
All right, thank you, sisters, and thank you, viewers, for being part of today's episode. In this episode, actually, we'll be looking at 2 key documents. Remember, last week we had the first document where we talked about the September 2011 MNN Joint Alliance press conference. It explained the caliphate bondage and the shackles of the rest of us. So please, if you can look at the last week's video is going to give you details how, the shackle was formed and why we are where we are. Also, please, we need you to help us promote these discussions by 5 different steps. We want you to go to YouTube. Our name in YouTube is Daughters of Truth. We want you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like the videos, hit the bell for notification anytime we post a new video, leave a comment, and please share. Absolutely. No comment is awful. Just go ahead and leave, because we need to improve on what we are doing. so that our people would, get enlightened more about what is at stake. So today we are going to the document, this June 30th document, the same 2011, the Eminent Lagos Declaration. It's a very comprehensive plan. I'm going to read it from the beginning, and my sisters will help in discussing what is at stake. So the failed state, Nigeria, their stand. This was for the movement of New Nigeria. That was the conference they had June 30th, 2011. So, being text of a joint declaration by the Lower Niger Congress, the Federation of Odua People, and the Middle Belt Congress at a World Press Conference held on 30th June 2011 at Lagos, Nigeria. This reads, "We, the undersigned representatives of the Lower Niger Congress, made up of indigenes of the Lower Niger, the homeland of the ethnic nationalities of the former Eastern and Midwestern regions of Nigeria, involved in the mission of evolving a Lower Niger Federation. 2. The Federation of Odua Peoples, made up of the indigenes of Odua land, the homeland of the Yoruba ethnic nationalities of the former Western region of Nigeria, involved in the mission of evolving an Odua Peoples Federation. 3. The Middle Belt Congress, made up of indigenes of the Middle Belt, the homeland of the ethnic nationalities of the former Northern region of Nigeria, excluding the Sharia territories, involved in the mission of evolving a Middle Belt Federation. Now collaborating under the aegis of Movement for New Nigeria, MNM, in its quest to facilitate the reconstruction of Nigerian Foundation, I've chosen this time to address the burning issues of tottering Nigerian Union. The aforementioned territories, all being part of the Nigerian project, having over many years variously expressed our dissatisfaction with the project, and having called upon the Nigerian authorities, who have each time turned deaf ears, to provide an opportunity for dialogue between all the entrapped ethnic nationalities participating in the project, albeit under various forms of force, in view of the total collapse of the project, are constrained to state as follows. So, Sister, this is just part of the introduction. Just explain a little bit, Sister Ekwe.
Okay. You see, if we listen now, we'll see the people involved. This is not what one region is doing. The Odua, like we said, the Middle Belt, everyone that's in that territory that we've shown, let me just project it again so that we'll know what we're saying. The new majority, that we're talking about, which is this. So all the people in that white section, they have become the new majority against the yellow section that has now become the minority. And it's this small section that has been bullying this big section, killing them, doing everything to them. So this now, bringing all these people together is 75% of the entire work that needed to be done. You see, it's important for us to explain these things to our people, because all these people are involved in bringing down, dismantling that slave camp, that Fulani Caliphate Republic of Nigeria, because it's not our own. They have taken it and it's theirs, and they've enslaved the rest of us. So everybody is involved. And when you do things the right way, you follow the right protocol, you follow, due process, it saves everyone time and energy. And lives are preserved. Properties are also preserved. And in so doing, you don't end up falling into the hands of tyrants and supreme leaders wannabes. So this is why it's important that you know what you need to know. And that's why we come here this morning, every Saturday, trying to educate us. Because when you have an informed populace, you will not go wrong. You will know the right thing to do.
Exactly. Yes.
Thank you so much.
Yes, exactly. Sister Muna, you want to say anything? Or
No,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. If we have informed population or informed populace, there won't be any need for us to get into the hands of the DSS as per what is happening right now. So now let's go to the other part. Whereas our forebears were not Nigerians, they were ethnic peoples who inhabited their own homelands with well-defined territories, waterways, and resources of their own, with their customs, traditions, and government before the amalgamation in 1914 that absorbed them into an artificial state known as Nigeria. Prior to the advent of British colonization, they occupied and exercised unfettered and inalienable sovereignties over their respective homelands. It is the inalienable occupational rights of our forefathers over their homelands that subsequently gave us the citizenship of Nigeria under the Independence Federal Constitution. Our consent ceding some of our sovereignties to a federal union was first truncated when subsequently carried forward time and time again by force, culminating in the forceful imposition of the fraudulent 1999 Constitution. Colonization, which truncated our inherited sovereignties, resulted in the abrogation of the control over our lands and waterways, which we inherited from our forefathers, and in the cutting away of our resources. In 1960, the British relinquished our usurped sovereignties and returned our lands, waterways, and resources, and we agreed to continue with the British-Nigerian project only as federating units, parts and members of a federal union, each with its own constitution. In 1966, the military intervened in governance, sacking the said voluntarily worked out and agreed constitutions, and once more truncated our sovereignties, confiscated our lands, waterways, and resources, and forcefully reintroduced surveillance over them. At the seeming exit of the military in 1999, instead of returning our sovereignties, lands, waterways, and resources like the British did, some predators in the name of same military, by subterfuge, continued in the usurpation of all our sovereignties, lands, waterways, and resources, pursuant to a single, again imposed 1999 Constitution, which they nevertheless fraudulently proclaimed was made by we the people, and given to ourselves, secondly proclaimed federal, notwithstanding the absence of federating units and their individual constitutions, and thirdly, proclaimed that we had all joined in the creation of a center to which we had ceded all our sovereign rights, pursuant to which 68 items were placed on the federal exclusive legislative list, with a further 30-item concurrent list of the so-called 1999 Constitution, in which the federal government enjoys overriding powers, thus subjecting us to internal colonization by reserving the right to provide or not provide electricity, railways, security, highways, and access to ports, etc., by taking control of our natural resources, including oil and gas, on the false claim that we had ceded all our natural resources to the center. Further intent upon deceit, the so-called fundamental objectives and directive principles of state policy in Chapter 2 of the 1999 Constitution, political and economic objectives proclaimed, among other things, that sovereignty belongs to the people of Nigeria, from whom government, through this Constitution, derives all its powers and authority, that the security and welfare of the people shall be the primary purpose of government, that the Federal Republic of Nigeria shall be a state based on the principles of democracy and social justice, that the participation by the people in their government shall be ensured in accordance with the provisions of this Constitution, that there shall not be a predominance of persons from a few states or from a few ethnic or other sectional groups in government or in any of its agencies, and that the affair of government or its agencies shall be conducted so as to recognize the diversity of people. Successive governments have breached each and every one of the foregoing provisions towards the people of the Lower Niger, Odua land, and the Middle Belt with impunity, we assert that the 1999 Constitution was imposed in breach of our sovereignties, that the country is organized on the basis of a master-servant relationship in which merit is thrown to the dogs, and that there is a palpable class structure importing first-class citizens for some, and behind whom the peoples of the lower Niger, Odua land, and the Middle Belt must queue to find relevance. Apart from acquiescing in participating in the true federal system that succeeded colonialism in 1960, our forebears and us were never subdued in any way with any other inhabitants of Nigeria, let alone being subjugated in any post-war negotiations. Yet we have no other faith in the Nigerian project other than the brazen denial of access to any meaningful participation in the affairs of Nigeria. And this has manifested in a variety of ways. Number one, the refusal by those who have usurped our rights, which independence retrieved from the British, particularly the right to participate in constitution making, to determine the acceptable minimum standards of political, social, and economic engagement, and to allow us participate in shaping our own destinies. Number two, the confiscation and exposure of our resources to a sharing formula that compromise our sovereignties and ownership. Number three, the refusal by unknown conquerors to allow us participate in choosing the type of government, presidential or parliamentary, acceptance to us in our relationship with our fellow countrymen. Number four, the determination of fate from far away places by people we really do not know and with whom we share nothing at all in common other than an inglorious colonial past and an inscrutable and fabricated 1999 Constitution. All right, Sister Muna, you go ahead.
That's
Sister, I
okay.
should go
Sister,
ahead.
yeah, go ahead.
It has some tax. Yeah.
Both of you, actually, yes.
So, you see, by this declaration, our forefathers were not Nigerians. We have been captured and enslaved by the Fulanis and their British sponsors. You see, when you have a problem, the first step in solving it is acknowledging that problem, accepting that I have a problem. The fact is that we are all slaves. We have been captured by people. Yoruba, Middle Belt, Lower Niger, all of us, we have all been captured. And that's why they can come into our churches, kill us, come into our homes, massacre us, cut our children, cut our pregnant women. They kill us everywhere. They took away our freedom and our so speak, they kill you. There is no democracy in that caliphate Nigeria. Without their current.
Sister Queen, your internet is going.
Am I coming out?
It's going in and out. No. Are you using earpiece?
Better now.
Sister Muna, probably you continue with the explanation.
Yeah, are you using earpiece? It sounds like you're it's not the reception is
yeah.
The earpiece is for the monitor the
right. So
Facebook.
huh? Right. So
No,
like my
I
sister
don't know.
said, our forefathers are not Nigerian or Nigerians.
Is this
Okay, go ahead. Let's see.
I don't know what has it been like that from beginning when I said our forefathers are not Nigerians?
Yeah, it's kind of in and
You need to
out.
take
Now
it.
it's a little more consistent.
You can start from where you say there is no democracy.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was clear until that point.
Okay. So there is no democracy in that caliphate Nigeria without their unitary constitution in place. That's not democracy. So colonization truncated our civilization as a people. We had our plan, we had government, we had all the things we are doing. It's just like a stunted child, like when a child is growing and then the growth becomes stunted. We're not where we ought to be at this stage because of the cruel and evil amalgamation of 1914. It was done against our destiny. And that's why today we are crawling. We are still crawling when we should be running and jumping. We are crawling. We have stunted growth. Anything that you see that looks like growth and development to you is stunted. Would have been far above and beyond that stage if that 1914 amalgamation did not happen. Because of that amalgamation, we are unable to protect our lives and properties. Because of that singular action, the world can freely come in, rob and kill us from all angles, and we cannot
nothing would happen.
And nothing
No
will happen.
protection whatsoever.
So that amalgamation incapacitated us as a people. And if some people sat down and made a declaration that killed you and I, then we have the right to come together and make another declaration and say, no, you don't want. You shouldn't. That is our right. It is our right to protect our lives. It is our right to protect our properties. The apartheid constitution that is in place right now is imposed on us. We didn't make it.
Exactly.
It's all a lie. We didn't make it. It's a forged document. And all elections based on that fraudulent document ought to be suspended. And that's what we're saying.
Immediate
you
effect.
cannot continue to do any election without forged documents.
Exactly.
Because if you do, you're in agreement.
Exactly.
Of course.
Because that's what it shows. If you don't go and conduct election or vote, you are empowering that forged document that took all your rights away from you. So we're telling our people that first thing first, let's go back to the drawing board. If your house is leaking, is bad from foundation, you don't keep painting it and giving it
a nicer look.
Exactly.
When you should go to the foundation and probably pull the
where it all began. You go
Mm-hmm.
where it all began.
Exactly.
You go to the regional blocks, those federating blocks that make up Nigeria. That's the real people that make up that evil entity that they created. The real owners of the land. That's where you go back to.
The indigenous peoples.
The indigenous peoples. Because they need to decide if they want to be part of Nigeria or not.
Or not.
It is their right to make that decision. And then when they say they want to be part of Nigeria, it's their right to say, what type of government do we want? You're not going to impose it on us. We will decide. What are the terms and rules of engagement? These are the things the people have the right to decide. Not the politicians, not the senators, not the all those people gathering around, because those ones are employees. They're not the owners of the company. How will somebody that you employ to come and manage company for you start telling you as the CEO that he will now direct your life? No. You will go back to the article of the company and say, no, this is my company. It belongs to me. I employed you to manage it. If you're not going to manage it according to my terms, then you check out.
Exactly.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, Sister Muna, you want to say something?
No, my sister. I mean, my sister said it all. You know, if we continue to have election under this fraudulent document, we are wasting our time. We will continue to be run in circle. We will continue to inform the international community that we are into the forged documents, because as long as we we continue to perform election under the constitution, the world is saying that we agree with that constitution. So it's really, really important. Igbo presidency or no Igbo presidency is another way for them to keep us with the same constitution that is not allowing us to perform our maximum best.
That's true. And that is why we are saying that there's not going to be any election of any kind. Because if we decide, there's not going to be any election, it nullifies that constitution. But if we go ahead and have an election, then it means that we are approving the constitution. And we'll continue to be in bondage for another 4 years. So we don't want that to happen. So I pray that, people are listening, they understand why this thing has to break down the way it is. And thank God it's on a spiral downfall. Very soon it will implode. So now let's continue. As we lamented our plight through the foregoing indignities, We wondered how we came by such a dilemma in a relationship supposedly amongst equals, only recently to stumble upon the reason for our fate. On the 13th of November 2002, the Tribune newspaper had cause to recall Sir Ahmadu Bello's admonition in October 1960 to the dissidents of Usman Dan Fodio, reported in the Parrot newspaper of 12 October 1960. And it says thus: the new nation called Nigeria should be an estate of our great-grandfather Usman Dan Fodio. We must ruthlessly prevent a change of power. We use the minorities in the North as willing tools and the South as a conquered territory, and never allow them to rule over us and never allow them to have control over their future. Unquote. So in order to be fully cognizant of this purport, it is necessary to put the admonition, which is no less than a battle order, in its proper perspective. By admonition, Sir Ahmadu Bello created three categories of Nigerians. First class Nigerians, the inheritors of Nigeria as an estate of Usman Dan Fodio. Second class Nigerians, the willing tools, who are the same as the minorities in the North, to be used by their inheritors as tools. And third class Nigerians, the whole of southern Nigeria, as the conquered territory, who are no more than slave boys, who must never be allowed to control their own future, let alone be allowed to rule over the inheritors. Both implicitly and explicitly, Ahmadu Bello's battle order is the oracle for unraveling why the inheritors insist that Nigeria is an indissoluble marriage made in heaven, why whatever manner of candidate the inheritors present is good enough as president, why the imageries of the inheritors could not stomach the audacity of the Nigerian authorities, subjecting their crown prince Buhari to a contest based upon the stupid game called democracy. Worse still, exposed him to defeat by a slave boy from a people who must neither be allowed to rule over the inheritors. Why Aburi, which General Gowon, a head of state, but still not more than a willing tool at the disposal of the inheritors in an attempt to achieve true and fiscal federalism and return to Nigeria to the constitutional project that it was in 1960 at independence, laboriously negotiated and agreed with slave boy Ojukwu, was scuttled twice in 1967 and 1974. Why the three regions of South at independence had to become only 17 states against the one region of the North, 19 states, plus one federal capital territory. The latter garnering to itself a majority in the National Assembly and a greater number of 774 local government structures enshrined in the 1999 Constitution, all structured to enable inheritors to keep a larger piece of a cake to which they contribute nothing. Why the Northern Blueprint for any structural rearrangement of Nigeria has the state and local government areas enshrined in the 1999 Constitution as no-go areas. Why Yakasai, Chiroma, General Babangida, and Atiku cannot stomach PDP's winning formula, which handed over its presidential ticket to a slave boy from the South. This true perspective of the battle order shows Obasanjo's first coming, Shonekan's anointing, and Obasanjo's second coming, all of which were made possible by inherited godfatherism for the aberration that they were. Not knowing that our fate was the direct implementation of the battle order, we in our ignorance kept insisting upon restructuring. On hindsight, the whole episode has been an ongoing 96 years tragedy, now legitimized by a 1999 constitution. That is a ploy by which erstwhile fellow victims of colonialism turned predators plan to exercise perpetual control over our lands, rivers, resources, our lives, and the lives of our generations yet unborn. We have now come to the realization that we have stood and folded our hands far too long as if we are in captivity, whilst our resources are plundered, hacked, and carried away to faraway places for the betterment of other people and to our detriment. Two, our environment is spoiled while we are being reduced to a state of political extinction in spite of our huge contributions to the Nigerian economy. On the other hand, on the whole, nothing works under the 99 Constitution, resulting in failed everything in education, healthcare, electric power, roads, food security, personal security, and job security, all of which breed unemployed and restive youths. As if the foregoing traumas were not enough, following upon a slave boy assuming the mantle of leadership after the 2011 presidential election, the inheritors refusing to accept the verdict of the Nigerian electorate resulted to the unprovoked murder of our siblings, claiming and insisting that they do not accept democracy as a form of government. That Sharia law must apply in the 12 states in which inheritors voters voted, and in which the inheritor candidate Buhari won, and that justice is not possible under the 1999 Constitution, for which reasons they have realized from being bound by the 1999 Constitution. Other than the proclaimed disdain for democracy, there is nothing new in the inheritors' present stance. For several years now, they have demonstrated their contempt for the 1999 Constitution. In 2000, contrary to the provisions of the 1999 Constitution, the state houses of assembly of the same 12 states enacted laws converting their states to Sharia law states and set up Sharia police, ISBA. The executive arms of the Sharia law state executed the verdict of Sharia tribunals, including chopping off of arms and limbs and stoning adulterous women to death for whatever other reason, but certainly including an attempt to ensure that the police force enshrined in the 1999 Constitution does not exercise surveillance over their homelands. They have now sought its extinction by continuous and indiscriminate bombing of police formations. From 2000 to date, not one inheritor voice has been heard in condemnation of these actions. In effect, the inheritors long ago declared the death of Nigeria and are presently continuing it in the same vein. All right, sisters.
Wow.
Oh my God, that is too much
awful.
to take in.
I know. They have done it all. But it looks like we have, how do I say it? We have mustered the courage to be dormant and just watch them destroy our lives and the lives of our children.
Sit down, look.
Sit down, they look.
Mm-hmm.
Sit down, they look.
Yeah.
So these people came up with a blueprint. So Amadi Bello, how many years ago? And he didn't even hide it. Remember, it was a British reporter that had the interview with him, how he's going to deal with us. So it wasn't even hidden. I don't know, is it that our people did not understand the English language, or they thought it was referring to that side where he was versus the whole country, Nigeria. So this is the blueprint of our sorrow and predicament. This blueprint created three classes of Nigeria. The first class are the Fulanis. The second are the willing tools that they massacred and killing now. And the third class is the rest of us that they captured as the citizens of Nigeria. That's why they can massacre us any way they want. Nobody is saying anything. If you recall, in 2011 presidential election, when we voted in someone that we know that can help us to make everybody become a true citizen of that country, they came and mess up the whole election. And our brother had to, just throw in the towel. They killed how many youth corpers? About 11 youth corpers were killed in cold blood for no reason. And then they went further with the terrorism to set up their so-called Boko Haram and vowed, even when the president, Jonathan was in power, and said that they will make his government ungovernable. So now the same group of, my goodness, this is so annoying. And this is why I talk about our men. Because they are the one romancing with these people back and forth. They are the one going back and forth to Abuja, getting their own contract. Now, these people are waving Igbo presidency carrot on our face. And everybody's going for it. Or at least the dumb ones are going for it. How long are we going to starve our children, our youth of their future? How long are we going to ride on their back to continue to live the lifestyle that we want? How long are we going to have an economy that does not support job development? It does not sustain anything for our youth. How do we justify our youth ready enough to get married, get a job? They're not able to do it. They're still waiting for their mom to cook for them. And these are the people that sold their land to make sure their children finish school and go to school, talk less of doing a youth copper. How long are we going to sit around and have this happen? We must find a way to look at things that work and go with and immediately, because this is not even something that we have to wait forever to get done. This is something that that's why, like my sister said, we are coming here every Saturday to help you guys understand this document so that we can all be stakeholders of what is going on and end this mess as soon as possible so we can begin to live our lives. Like my sister said, we have been like children. We are like children that have a stunted growth. We are not growing, but we are there consuming oxygen. Nothing is happening. And not that we are not capable. It's like somebody systematically making sure that we do not grow. And we have all the available tools to do what we need to do, but we are not allowed to do it. We have to have, we really have to step up the game. We really have to step up the game. Thank you,
Yeah,
sister.
we really need to, as you rightly said, they have conquered the southern area. We have called the conquered territory. I remember recently that the governor of Imo State, that one that they unpicked, that did not win an election, is going to pay. Did he say 8 million naira or 80 million? To Fulani for their missing 50 cows. They missed 50 cows. I don't know how. Not honestly, I don't know where the cows went to, but he's willing to pay from the coffers of Imo State's account to pay 8 million naira to these Fulani herdsmen.
This is someone that has not fed his people in this COVID-19. He has not.
He has not. They have not provided anything. At least we could see some other states doing something. This one has not done anything for his own people. And there's no way, he's not even planning to do anything for his own people. And yet he wants to cover 8 million naira and pay for cows that were missing. Are you sure the cows were missing?
You see, he looks like a houseboy already. Can't you see him? Look at him. He's always looking harassed. Like a houseboy. Embarrassed.
It's a mess.
They're reading the scripts to him, and he's there obeying. I like what Sister Muna said. He said that we are stakeholders in this. Because this idea of our people thinking that somebody will do it for me, if we should be doing, we are coming. It's not going to help us. Mm-hmm. We are all stakeholders in this because we are all the slaves captured. Mm-hmm. So we need to work together, wake up, and begin to think. And there's something Sister Muna mentioned again. He said that this thing is the blueprint of our predicament. That thing that battle order.
Battle order of Ahmadu Bello. Mm-hmm.
Which means that these people had a blueprint and they are following it.
Step by step.
That is why we're telling our people.
Bumper to bumper, consistently.
Yes. These are not done anyhow. When you want something, you sit down, get a blueprint, and start following it. The blueprint that will have timeline. This is the first step. This is the second step. This is the third step. Till 20 steps. Till you get to where you're going. You don't just sit down and assume that things will just happen by themselves.
Fall in place.
No, things don't fall in place by themselves. Human beings make things to be in place. What you want to see, you sit down and say, okay, this is what I want to see. What are the challenges? What are the things that will stop me from getting this? Okay, this is what I should do to take away the challenges. And then 10 years time or 5 years time, I will get to where I'm going. Then if anything happens to option A, it's okay. Option B, coming. Then option C, you do not give up.
You do not give up.
Not give up. You continue to work until you get to where you plan to get to. And that's what we're here to do. We are not giving up, and we will not allow you to give up. We will put fire behind you, push you forward. We must do the right thing. We have come.
Yeah, we have. We must do the right thing. It cannot continue like this for how long, please? For how long? All right, so let me go to the part 4 of the document. At this juncture, we, the peoples of the Lower Niger, Odua land, and the Middle Belt, hereby declare that we have reached the end of our endurance in this matter and assert that the present state of affairs is totally intolerable and unacceptable to us. In view of this foregoing, we, the peoples of the Lower Niger, Odua land, and the Middle Belt, declare as follows. Number 1, we acknowledge the inalienable right of the inheritors not to want to have anything to do with democracy, whilst asserting our own inalienable right to continue our belief in and desire for democracy in our own homelands. both in exercise of our mutual rights as the indigenous peoples of our respective homelands, in accordance with the United Nations Declaration of the Rights of Indigenous People, UNDRIP in 2007, particularly Articles 3, 4, and 5, thereof applicable in Nigeria. For those that don't understand the declaration, the UNDRIP, we've already done that before. If you go to our old videos, you can go back. We explained that like from beginning to the end of the UNDRIP, that's the United Nations Declaration of the Rights of the Indigenous Peoples. So you all need to go back, pick our old, I'm not sure which of the videos, but at least in the last
Yeah, and it
three,
does
4
say
weeks,
it does say United Nation. Yeah.
yeah, if you'll find it, that this would explain it further. Then number 2, provided the peoples of Southern Kaduna and similar borderline communities who are not of their own stock and who do not subscribe to Sharia law are excluded. We acknowledge the inalienable rights of the inheritors that Sharia law should be applicable in their homelands, whilst also asserting our own inalienable right not to have Sharia law apply to our own homelands, both in exercise of our mutual rights as the indigenous peoples of our respective homeland in accordance to the UNDRIP. That would be Articles 3, 4, and 5, applicable in Nigeria. Number 3, we accept the declaration inherent in the actions of the inheritors that, except for being co-victims of an inglorious colonial past, which brought us together in the first place, and equally co-victims of an imposed 1999 constitution, we, the peoples of the Lower Niger, Odua land, and the Middle Belt, have nothing in common with the inheritors and are also convinced that the Nigerian Union remains the mistake of 1914. Number 4, at the instance of the MNN plaintiffs representing our ethnic nationalities in court, that's Abuja High Court. I don't want to call the court number, you know all this legal terminology. I don't know. So, and number 5, hold on. The suit before the Federal High Court in Lagos Division sought reliefs, including a declaration that the 1999 Constitution is a forgery, that the preamble be set aside, and that the government of the day be ordered to initiate a process for the negotiation and reenactment of our union document, which is the Constitution, via a sovereign national conference, to which they have turned deaf ears to date. Having therefore been at the receiving end of the injustices it has meted out to us over the past 12 years, we share the views of the inheritors that the 1999 Constitution is incapable of affording justice. Number 6, whereas we were prepared to participate in the Sovereign National Conference advocated recently by NADECO, whereas the ethnic nationalities of Nigeria would have settled the question, Abuja, Aburi, or Araban, we assert that the actions of the inheritors have thrown that option into the basket of history, and we hereby accept and adopt the declaration inherent in the actions of the inheritors, whilst equally declaring same that the 1999 Constitution is dead and equally ceases to apply to and in our own lands. In consequence, we equally declare that the Nigerian contracted by our colonial masters and hitherto sustained by the pretentious and inglorious 1999 Constitution, the only contract cord binding us together, is at an end, and by virtue of self-determination rights conferred by the aforesaid United Nations Declaration, reserve our inalienable right to deal with our homelands as we choose. Number 7, by virtue of Declaration 5, herein, we, the owners of the homeland of the Lower Niger, Odua land, and the Middle Belt, are hereby resolved to henceforth pursue the ratification of various draft constitutions, which may be the basis of a future union to be still known as Nigerian, or by whatever other name we choose. Number 8, holds the event of a future union to be still known as Nigeria, or by whatever name we choose, we, the owners of the homelands of the Lower Niger, Odua land, and the Middle Belt, hereby pledge to abide by any and all obligations of an international nature imposed by the now at an end contracted Nigeria upon our respective homelands. And I have to give credit to those that wrote this on, and for behalf of the Lower Niger Congress, we have Kalada M. Jean, Alfred Ilenre, Dr. Idongesi Ambrose, Alex Ayotala Talumwa, Federation of the Oduwa People, we have Tokumbo Ajasin, Shenger Rama Kunle Olaya, Leye Akimodiro Wale Aino, and Suleiman Isalawum. For the Middle Belt Congress, we have Professor Lorna Shogba, Andrew Ayuba Bosworth, and Nat Apaya, Bishop Luke Angula. And the president is Fred Agbe, and the general secretary is Tony Nade. And thank you all for this. So, sisters, let's explain the last part.
Thank God you have to call all those names, my dear.
Yeah, I mean, we have to give credit, not some
no,
people that
if I had to call it, you wouldn't even know what I'm saying. It wouldn't even come out like that. Well, good job. Kudos. All right. So we all know that 1999 Constitution cannot give us the justice and the kind of civilized life that we are seeking for. Everybody wants through democracy, because not what we have right now, which is democracy. Everybody wants through democracy, government of the people, by the people. And it was based on this document that my sister just presented, that the U.S. military advised their government in June of 2013 that Nigeria will not survive 2015. I remember this specifically. This is the work of our people, because I remember reading the news, but we didn't know where we came from. We didn't know there were people making this noise, making the connection, making the alliance, talking about injustice going on. But we all saw it in the newspaper. But this is the handwork of people that wants to give us true freedom. Even though we know what happened to it, it was truncated by Obama administration when they came and forced Buhari on us so that we can continue to live in bondage. And this is our brother, so people should not get it twisted. This is one of the things that when we say the Democrats here in America almost align themselves with the Fulanis in Nigeria, we are not kidding. They do the same thing. They keep being in power. Nothing is happening for their people. They will be there 30 years, 40 years, nothing is happening. Here can 18, can 80. But now, of course, thank God for the current administration. Everyone knows what's going on. The US, the UN, everyone is doing damage control to see how we can go our own way without bloodshed and chaos. Which is important. We have lost so much blood. We have lost so much properties. We have lost so much resources over all of this. The question then is, if all this work has been done, why are people still jumping up and down, allowing themselves to be killed? Why can't we follow up like the Yorubas and the Middle Belts are doing? We can see the result from their own land. The funny thing is that as the result is coming out, people are giving credit to someone that has nothing to do with this. Nothing to do with this. These are the people that have been working together. Our brother has been working with these Middle Belters. They were working with the Yorubas. And now we are seeing the result. Our people are so confused because noise is coming from everywhere in their ear every day. They're not even paying attention to something that will be meaningful in their lives. They have their collective military bases. Their hunter union was since in the 60s. Then they have the UNPO, which officially might make their intention known to the international arena of what they want to do. They have their radio station coming up. They have plenty already, but they have one that is dedicated to this emancipation.
Exactly.
They have a strong diaspora network. They are not playing. They are not deceiving themselves. They are not burying their head in the sand while their big butt is up in the air that somebody can blow it up and blow out that head that they dig in the ground. They are not lying to themselves. They are doing what works. We should know that the middle belts, they're already making waves in their own arena. They have understood that Abuja is part of their nation. Just like Lagos is belong to the Oduduwa nation. No wonder the Arewas are now building railways in Katsina, connecting themselves to that side Nigeria because they know they are not Nigerians.
To Niger, they are building the railway
away from it because they know the doom.
From Daura, you can imagine what business is going on in Daura that they will have to build railway. Meanwhile, there's no railway connecting Onitsha to Lagos or any other places where the hub of business. No, nothing.
Right. They even went further to build their so-called international airport in Kaduna. Whereas we are the most traveled people.
traveled people.
I guess maybe we'll drop off at Kaduna and then take bus back to the east. They are working to build the interior nations, part of their nations. They built Kaduna motor parts to counter innocent motors. They have built their Dangote cement against our brother Ibeto cement. They are manufacturing all kinds of stuff. Literally, they're building their own nation right in front of your eyes, koro eyes, using your resources.
And we are paying 8 million for cattle that we don't know if they were really missing. And we should even care if a cattle misses or dies. But we are what an idiot, a stooge, a slave boy, has been put in this page, is paid 8 million to work on the.
And this is the same group of people, the same group of men, the same group doing the same thing. They will never change. Don't let them deceive you, even if they come in a cheap clothing. Do not let them deceive you. The same group of men running village meeting that is going in circles for all over this, all along the time. All along all these, instead of us to come from our collective efforts, we are busy doing village meetings so we can have a summer barbecue party. So we can have end of year party. That's what we're doing. Then we'll lie to ourselves and buy a drug for $300 and send and say we are doing a health fair.
I know,
when we know when that medication runs out, our brothers and sisters, they don't have any other options. At what point are we going to stop lying to ourselves and do what works? Look at our brothers and sisters, the Yorubas. You don't hear chakam. You will see something different. And we're busy making so much noise and lying to ourselves and growing children that don't have any respect for their elders, or raising children that don't even want to understand why these are the people aged in a bondage, because I'm not in bondage, thank God.
No.
You guys they are stifling everybody there. Look at what's going on. And we're trying to say this thing needs to end as soon as possible. We need the freedom for our people. We are not going to apologize for it. Some people may not like the way they may feel like, oh, I don't care. Because we are the mothers that give birth to these children. When a man enters the labor room and deliver one, then I can have a conversation with them. But now, since I'm the one that is delivering, I can truly appreciate the level of pain. And I do not want any offspring, whether it's mine or somebody else, to continue to go through the suffering, especially where it's not needed. Where it's not needed. Enough is enough. A word is enough for the wise. When my sister will say, when 2 plus 2 start giving you 7, you're lying to yourself. It doesn't work that way. When you see things that makes you question in your heart, but you're afraid of saying it, that is the truth. When you see signs and symptoms that you know does not make sense, something is going on, don't brush it away. Don't lie to yourself. You should not, how do I say it? You should never exchange your freedom to please somebody else. You should never exchange your freedom to please somebody else. For what? For what? Be honest in all your dealings. Be honest in your heart. Be honest in your calculation. Be honest in what you see around you so that you can begin to make the adjustment that you need to get where you're going. As long as you continue to lie to yourself and pretend that all is well, you can hang again at the same situation over and over again, if not worse. Sister, please go ahead.
Thank you, Sister Mona. You have said it all. And Sister Augusta, thank you for reading the credits, because when we are telling people that you can't do this thing alone, they don't understand it. It's not building a nation is not what woman does. Except he wants to build his father's compound.
Exactly. It's not a command and control thing.
No. It has nothing to do with command and control.
Nothing to do with that.
It's about collaborating with people, sitting down with people, planning, and all the things that you call, because I like showing evidence. This is the map of the nations, the federating blocks, the people working together and making this declaration we are reading to you. They're already working together. They have their representatives. You heard the names called from all these regions. From Pronaco, since 2005, they have been working. So anybody coming the last 5 years or whatever, jumping around and telling you I'm doing something, is only doing what he's doing to collect your money. And they are, you know what, they're aware of this work. That's why what they do is jump around, use delay tactics, waiting for something to happen in this arena. Then they will claim it and ask you for more money. Then you pay for something they didn't do. In my language, it's called abateke. That is business, you know. You know, my people know how to do business. They know what to do to you to bring your money. You pay, you go and buy something that you didn't even plan to buy when they finish with you. So that's what they do. They're selling freedom to you, freedom that they cannot deliver. If they don't even have it, they are not free themselves. How can they free you? And you're giving them your hard-earned money to free you. You are the only one that will free yourself. And you know the interesting thing is that all these blocks you're seeing have held their national, their solemn assemblies in April 27, because when we're calling, we're giving you dates. It's not it's something you can't verify.
Yes.
April 27, 2015, at Port Harcourt, Lower Niger area, did their own solemn assembly. Oduduwa, the Yoruba people, they did their own at Ibadan, September 7th, 2017. And we are seeing all these, we saw all these videos. Just that, like my sister said, Samona said, we see these things, but we don't know where they're coming from. We don't even know who is doing it.
Exactly.
Middle belt, yes, middle belt area. For those that are saying, oh, you're calling it a name, you're not calling it a name. Middle belt, they don't have a name yet. But they know that they're together. The middle belt area, they're working together. Because they know it is not name that is their problem. Let them get what they want
first.
Then they will decide what to answer. So middle belt area, they held their own at Makodi, July 8, 2018. These things have been done. People have already done it, and they're still doing it, and are working on it. So we are telling our people, they have done all these things we are reading for you have already been done. We're not saying things that will be done. They have been done. But the next game-changing action for all the people seeking self-determination in this defunct Federation of Fulani, Nigeria, will be the upcoming constitutional force majeure.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to be involved in what is going on, that is where you will be targeting, because it's coming down. Everything has been like going in places. Now we are narrowing it down. I was describing to somebody, I say, the child has been given birth to. It's homecoming. How do we take the child from the hospital back home? Because the child has been delivered. It's how to take the child home. So this constitutional force majeure is baby homecoming celebration.
Exactly.
And that's the final of all finals. And we do what.
And people may want to know the meaning of force majeure. What we are simply saying in lay terms language is that if you have a bond and you want to free yourself from that bond, that's what we are talking about.
Yeah.
So everybody, you go your separate way. You free yourself from liabilities. You free yourself from a commitment. You just want to move away from that contraption, and that is what is about to happen. It's about to happen. It is slated already. As Sister Equi was saying, we cannot do this without a plan. We cannot do this without a blueprint. We cannot do this without a roadmap. And these things have been out there for a very long time. For the LNC, they've been in this movement for 21 years. That is how long they have been systematically doing this. And the first thing they needed to do is that internal cohesion. We've been talking about this. Not people coming up and start insulting people. Like I was talking to somebody yesterday, and the first thing she could imagine is to call me a scammer or all these terrible things that one emperor has given everybody to start. Whether the person is older than you or younger than you, it doesn't matter. You just start calling people names, people you've never met before. People that you don't even know they're standing in the society, you start calling them names because they're trying to navigate you to the right part. They're trying to tell you that these shouting and screaming have not helped. Many people have died in the process. You see an emperor saying that he was instrumental to the release of a political prisoner, Ojus Kalu, but it's all people that are helping him to scream and shout and carry flags all over the eastern region that are in jail. He has not even paid attention to their
jail in his own town.
in his own village, because where his father was a king or
a king or emperor or whatever.
Emperor.
You could not release those ones.
You could not release those ones. But you're instrumental to the release of Ojus or Kalu, the supposed politician that were not supposed to even interact with in the first place. That's coming from your own side. The supposed
So are we helping criminals now? Is that what we're doing? Helping politicians instead of helping our people?
Politicians. We have your members, your devoted members that would die before they see you cry, are still in jail, languishing. Some of the women that is it the women or what? That were women, are still in jail. You have not made concerted effort to get them out of jail, but you are blowing your chest that it was your threatening that made. Oh, what the heck? And people are buying that story. People are buying that story. They are gulping it down. When will our mumu end?
It has to end now. That's why we are here to teach them, so that their mumu will end. Because, like we said, you need to be an informed consumer.
An informed consumer.
Things that are coming to you, you need to be informed. Like, know
you need to be able to filter things, filter it out, and know when I should agree, no one no good versus. I don't even know what to say. It's so annoying. If your oration is what made Ojus or Kalu to be let out of prison, yet you cannot use the same voice, the same thunder and lightning to strike, so that your people that you have started using, you have actually started pointing them out so that DSS will go and pick them and jail them.
Yes.
These are the people that swore
oath. That's the report we are getting from back home. That they are calling
that swore oath with you.
And our people are going into hiding because somebody that they worked with is now turning against them, calling their names out for them to be picked up.
It's sad. It's so sad. So the bottom line.
Sister Muna, you were talking about all the things that the northern region they have accomplished. They have not stopped. I remember, was it 2 years ago, they had this Kaduna dry port. Dry port. In Lagos, we have the Lagos seaport and all that. We also suppose that the eastern region is supposed to have the Warri seaport, Calabar seaport, and the Port Harcourt and the rest. But for some reason, they didn't want to open that because we are the ones that will actually do a lot of shipping and all sorts. We do a lot of international businesses. They're not concerned about us. But they have a Kaduna dry port where if the goods land in Lagos, it will be transported to Kaduna. Then you will now go from the eastern region to go and pick. It's either you go from the eastern region to go and pick your goods in Kaduna, or you go to Lagos and pick up your goods. And that is so disheartening. But they are doing this because they know they don't have any waterways around their area. So they are trying to grab everything grabbable so that they could use that because they understand that this force majeure is something that is going to come, whether they like it or not. They understand that. So they're already covering their territory, guiding it jealously so that our people do not encroach. And yet our people are busy singing praises of one idiot. Sorry to say. We need to get this thing right and refocus our energy to what matters so that we can, so that we can move forward in this struggle. And as all of us have rightly said, these things have been out there for a very long time. We even have the 16th step where it tells us what they have done, date and time. And in those 16 steps, we are left with, in their 14th step, which is this force majeure we're talking about. After which there will be transition, there will be, I think, referendum, then transition, Abby. Yeah. So the steps are there. It's just for our people to get these papers and look at them and try and decipher what is right from what is wrong. And the time is now. Thank you, my people.
Thank you, my dear. So basically, they are building their own nation with and without your consent, whether you like it or not. When you have a sea, a dry port, you have an airport, you have a train, you have all these things. I mean, Okwa nation is there now. They have all the resources that they need. And while the funny thing is that in the process, they're destroying our land. They're destroying our own part of the
Yeah,
land. That
because they don't
even
want you to challenge them. They don't want you to, they know you're strong, you're capable. So they want you to be down, 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 down. That's why they're borrowing in your name and everything. So by the time you go, because they know you're going, so there will be a strong nation, you will be crawling. So the more we wait with them, the more we are going down. And we can't do this anymore.
all right, sisters. Thank you so much. I think we've had enough for the day. Thank you, viewers, for joining us. We'll continue to educate our people on things that matter. We'll continue to make sure we are not here to, again, look at anybody's faces. We're here to make sure that we do what we need to do in order to get us where we're going. So thank you so much. I did some little funny things here. For some reason, they are all disappearing on me this morning. So I guess I'll continue to work on my technology. I'm almost becoming a TV media guys, sisters. So before you know it, it will be up and running. So thank you guys so much. We'll see you all next week. Bye, viewers.